Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto. I hope you're doing great, and welcome to this new video here on the markets. We're going to do a middle of the day market update. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is something I do every single day. We talk about the markets, we'll talk about the fundamentals, we'll talk about Bitcoin, XRP usually as well, because I know a lot of you are interested in that. And then we'll take a look at some altcoins over the course of today that I like, that can pump up or that have fallen too much, etc. So that's what we'll do. I'll try to keep it short. There's quite a lot to talk about, of course, and there's quite a lot of uncertainty still in the markets. By the way, I know the audio is not great, but right now I'm not home, so I don't have my microphone. So I know it's not amazing, but hopefully it doesn't matter too much. But starting off with the markets, I mean, obviously right now the most important kind of driver of crypto is unfortunately the macroeconomics and the financial markets. All right, with everything that's going on with the tariffs and just in general, a bit of uncertainty regarding some sort of a trade war, yes or no, tariffs on the EU. Will the US respond to the tariffs that China overnight, or at least overnight for the US, implemented? Those are all things I don't know about. All right, I followed it extensively, and I do have knowledge on the topic. I've studied economy, etc., or economics, I should say. But overall, it's just very uncertain what these tariffs will do on the long run, and short term how it will all go down. Right? It seems like the tariffs with Mexico and with Canada can kind of be discussed, and maybe they can not be implemented, or they can come to some sort of a different trade agreement. With the EU, I think that's a little bit more difficult. With China, that's more difficult. So we'll see. I mean, so far what we can judge from the fundamentals, it makes me slightly happy. I mean, you can see right here, S&P 500 futures are relatively bullish today. The S&P 500 still has a little bit of a gap to fill to the upside, small one, but still. But this is still closed, of course. I mean, S&P 500 futures possible, but ultimately, when the US market opens in an hour from now, that will be the moment where we will see real direction kick in. But if we take a look at some other things, like the USDT dominance has dropped down nicely here from resistance, so that's good to see. The dollar strength index over the course of today has been relatively bearish. That's also bullish for crypto. What you can see is that there's actually quite a big Coinbase Bitcoin premium. All right, so a premium on the price of Bitcoin on Coinbase. Which is usually an indication of the US buying, even though I must say, no, this is quite bullish. I mean, it's a huge premium. So if we take a look at all of those fundamentals, I'm being slightly optimistic. And in the Signal group yesterday, which if you don't know, I have my own Signal group where I post my own trades, and just in general, I post more updates on the markets. So if you're interested in that, if you want to learn more about crypto investing and trading, and you want some profitable trades, consider joining that. But that's something different. But we actually bought yesterday. I'm still holding those buys, all right, because I do like my bias overall for the market right now. Short term is bullish. However, there's two problems. First of all, fundamentally, if this trade war escalates more by a significant margin, then the stock markets are going to fall down lower. And the dollar strength index is most likely going to go up. That's bearish, all right? And that could happen in an hour from now when the US market opens. And that's kind of what's worrying me. And the second thing is that Bitcoin, if you take a look at the price action here, we have hit a major resistance level around 101,600. Massive technical resistance level, all right? We can only break through that with volume, and I would also say with some news that's pushing us above that. The volume right now is dropping down, and news, like ultimately, like if we get some very big news, like a strategic Bitcoin reserve, I almost don't dare to say that, then we can break above that. But for now, I don't think we can break above that, which means it's more likely that we will actually respect the resistance and drop down lower in the range, which is obviously not great for crypto. All right, so those are the two, or, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. But then we need to see the Bitcoin dominance fall down, which has been falling down for the majority of today. But we need to see this fall down much lower, and we need to in general, see some sort of a breakdown for this. If that happens, we're fine. But like I said, because of those two reasons, I'm not opening new positions, and the positions I have open are de-risked. So I'm slightly optimistic about the markets, but personally, I would not open any new trades. I mean, the market is also very correlated, as you can see. we'll talk about altcoins a little bit later. Before we talk about altcoins, because there are some interesting ones, as you just saw. Quick update on XRP here. Not much has changed. I mean, we've nicely from this morning, we've actually managed to bounce from 2.5. What I said this morning is that we need to either break above 2.72 or below 2.5 for some confirmation. I would say, given my expectations of the fundamentals and given my expectations for XRP specifically as well, I would say the breakout above 2.75 is more likely. But again, and I'm starting to sound like a broken record, that will depend on the fundamentals. So talking about some altcoins, most of the altcoins are very correlated. There's a couple that I think are quite interesting. It is Sui. Sui is starting to outperform here. I think Sui in general is quite interesting. It's also top 5 in volume the last hour. Ethereum is actually quite interesting. Ethereum right now is putting more volume than Bitcoin. So I haven't said that Ethereum is interesting very often. Right now it's quite interesting, and you can also see that some Ethereum beta coins like Optimism, ENS, but also Pendle are quite strong. So I would definitely keep an eye on that. And Ondo has been ridiculously strong over the last over the last couple of days. I mean, look at this recovery. Ondo is back at the same levels it was at the majority of January. So extremely strong. And then lastly, and I made a video on this morning, Hype. I'm very bullish on Hype, which is Hyperliquid. This is definitely a coin you should have on your watch list and potentially accumulate, but that's up to you. But those are kind of the altcoins I'm looking at right now. And then if we get some sort of a breakdown in the Bitcoin dominance and we get solid fundamental developments, I should say, then I'll look at some more. But those are my thoughts on the markets for now. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. Like I said, if you're interested in joining our amazing community in Signal Group and you want to actually receive my trades, check that out. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.